I've played on this world for nearly 3 years now, and my base still looks like I just started, so it's finally time to change that. Make sure to stick around to see the final result. The first build for today is a simple blacksmith build, so let's get started immediately. What my vision for this build is relatively simple. The idea is just a simple two-parted design that essentially has one open area where the actual furnace is, and then another part which is just a normal house. Now that's 1, 2, it's already 3, 4. Just like that. Wait, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. I think it's still, first of all, yes, it's quite big. I think I should push it back 3 blocks though. I think those 3 blocks for the back, well, will be really, really helpful. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, way better. Well, this is what happens when you don't plan and just build. Let's tower this up again. I do not have enough walls on me. That is a shame. Now, I'm not quite sure how long, I think 9 blocks. Now let's tower this side up as well. Now just the main walls left. Okay, let's view it from a bit further away. I think it's fine. Yeah. Let's add a window here. And here. Okay, I have barely any wood, which is a shame, as I don't know where all my spruce wood is. But let's just start on the roof. And obviously, those few steps weren't going to be enough. 20 will still not suffice for this build. But oh well, guess I gotta farm spruce. Okay, there we go. That is one side of the roof done. Let's get some more cobblestone walls. I'll worry about texturing later on. And I need spruce wood. I found some scraps that, well, should be enough for this build. Okay, with this, the big roof is pretty much completed. Let's just add the small roof now. That is the house with the roof. Obviously, it's not fully detailed yet. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, not that bad of a mistake to be honest. Okay, there we go. Now it's actually 11 wide. And let's reposition these guys as they are. Well, wrong place now. But wait, this one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one is 5, so that one is at least correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. These windows. I want one right here and another one right there. It has gotten pretty large right on the map. This is right. I think it's about the second biggest house actually. This one is a bit bigger. But I think this one and that one is smaller than this one, right? The small one is obviously smaller. Well, at least my main house, because it's a different shape, it looks and feels smaller, but it is also smaller, at least in width. So, but that is the general form of the house completed. Now, what we now need to do is obviously the good old texturing. Right now, this is just the front textured, and I think that I could add more variant and as well as more color into the builds using this new block, the mud bricks. So I think I'm actually going to try that out. Now let's test out how mud blocks look. I do kind of like this. So let's simply texture it. If you're interested, the way that I usually texture my buildings is by creating these sort of lines and then just filling those in. Essentially creating little cracks and filling them in. Sometimes it ends up looking not too good, sometimes it ends up looking quite alright. With the texturing pretty much done, we can start to work on the inside. Now for that, this is going to be a bit more tricky, as this entire thing is just one block. Right, it is extremely hollow. So we need a lot of wood. Now as you can see in here, I used this sort of pattern, alternating between planks and strip wood. And I think I'm going to follow that same pattern in here. To be honest, if I die in this world soon, that is probably going to be the way I die. Now because of the way we are going to build the floor, we need to actually texture in this layer as well. So let's get our texturing blocks, not that shotgun, this one. And let's quickly just go around texturing that layer. That is the floor pretty much done. Now what we now need is some more windows as well. It's kind of bland looking, isn't it? But before we actually do the windows, let's focus on the roof. The typical roof that I do is pretty much just wooden beams filled in with, well, wooden slabs. There we go. For over here on these flatter sides, I used windows like these. So I think I'm just going to copy this simple design over onto this side as well. Usually there would be a lantern there, but I'm going to place that one later. Although I don't know if I have lanterns somewhere. Let me just quickly check. Thought I had some down here. Turns out I don't. Yeah, maybe somewhere. I'm not looking through every single chest in the house once again, so I'm also not sure if I should use like the same design for a roof as well. This is for inactive furnaces. Because this is a workshop, we could also make a direct entrance to the house here. Okay, this block should be... I didn't think that through. Ha! Now what do you give me? So you've been annoying me. Ha! Yeah, nothing that I really need. Yeah, I'm thinking I should just use a different design. I could go for like this here. No, I kind of like that simple. So now, because I've, well, destroyed this here, let's add in a stone block. We'll worry about the, well, interior later on. I think I should add one of these back here. Okay, I also realized that I kind of forgot those there and just like to build them in general. Go. Now let's add in some andesite walls as well. There we go. Now the back. The back currently has absolutely no windows, and this part was there with no windows, but this part needs some. And it's just going to be the simple one tall one as well. And I might just copy the positions from the front to the back. Okay, now for the inside. For those, I would like an armor stand. I don't think that I have ones other than that one. Oh god, 3 smooth stone, which we can turn into smooth stone slabs. And alongside some more sticks, we can craft ourselves 6 armor stands. Will I ever need those 6? Maybe, but also maybe not. Now, for the interior, I also kind of wanted one right there. I just kind of like that as a show-off. And here we also need a furnace, which I think this corner is good for one. I'm not sure about its design though. Maybe something like that. I could just use another campfire for the fire. Okay, there we go. I think that looks definitely alright. Now let's add like 1 or 2 of these here. Obviously a blacksmith needs an anvil. Not the most detailed, but I forgot to do the floor. I don't think that I have normal mud blocks. That is a shame, because those would have been a great detail here. The nearest form is a few thousand blocks away. Although, wait, I think that you can use like water bottles on those to like create that. Let's hope I have some bottles somewhere. Okay, I do have some like armor every here and there that I could use as show-off because, well, they are just sitting around in a chest. Okay, perfect. This does work. Oh, this is normal mud, which is almost what I want. We now have packed mud, which is exactly what I want to add in some detail. There we go. You know what? I do like that now. Let's add 2 armor stands. Now let's also replace the anvil. And this is pretty much this part done. Aside from some item frames that I can't really do because I apparently have no leather. Let's go ahead and get ourselves 2 more or less full armor. Okay, let's check once again if we have any leather somewhere. Because I feel like we should. Yeah, there's 4, that's better. Well, honestly, that is probably enough. Now that we can also add in some items. What do we have here? We have a lot of pants, but not a lot of helmets. So I guess they won't have helmets then. What a shame. Now let's put these on. Now all that is left to do is just to get ourselves the wood again. And add a little detail that I've started to add on the other buildings, which is this little window. It serves absolutely no purpose aside from looking kind of cool. So let's put it here. I think I've always placed it higher. No, this roof is just smaller. Yeah, I do like that little detail though, so I'm happy. Aside from the interior, this house is now done. So we can start working on the next one. Because all interiors I'll just simply do at the end. Because, well, I have no idea how to do good interiors. For this one I want to do something a bit different compared to all the other houses, as most of these are in a rather straight line, and I want to try something diagonal, and I think right here, because it's not going to be so big, because I'm not sure how it'll turn out, I'll just go like, what, 3 blocks, and then go back 1, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Now it has to be 5 in the width as well, so now let's build it up. I think it might be a bit high, but... This one is also just 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks tall, so I think it should match up. I think the only thing that could be kind of weird is the roof on this one. As you can tell, there are these little spots, and I think I'm just going to fill them in with planks. Normally I would use trapdoors here, and I think that's what I'm going to do here as well. Let's get some, and let's test that. I am quite happy with the shape though. I think it doesn't look all too bad. It's a bit high, but that's because like half of the detail isn't even there yet. So let's add these guys. It's not like it's bad, but I don't think that the bad thing about this guy is the diagonal part. I think it's mainly based on the height. It seems kind of too high. I think on this side it looks better because it's only 3. Maybe this guy's especially tall. Yeah, okay, it's usually 3 and I just, okay, can't be the wrong house. So let's tear everything down. I actually kind of like what I did. Yes, sure, the door is a bit cramped, but aside from that, I think it's a cool little detail to have this little porch or veranda. I think that's a nice little touch. And of course, the entire back is missing. We need to fix that. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy with this. Yeah, I think that's great. So onto the back, let's just copy what we did on the front. At first I was kind of like, I don't think that'll look good, but now that I've built it, I think it looks quite decent. All that we need to do is just texturing and finishing the roof with the little stone walls. Now let's add this little detail back here as well. Admittedly, it is not ideal because it's basically a floor window, but I don't care. That is something for future me to figure out. Now this, because it's only 2 blocks tall, is kind of hard to figure out what to do, but I guess I'm just going to do what I did on this little guy. Could even add some more detail to that using another trapdoor on top. Oh, I can't, never mind. That's my bad. The only way that I can do is this way. And I was planning on using a gate over here to have it like kind of on top and not to the side, but because of this guy it doesn't really work, so we have to do this way. I like a little bit more variation in this, so maybe let's put this guy there. And now it just kind of looks weird with this guy there. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. But now let's get to texturing. Woohoo. Luckily there's not a whole lot of buildings, so there is not a lot to texture as well. You know, might have gone a bit overboard with the cobblestone, because there's not a lot of spots left for mud bricks. Okay, let's take a look at it from a bit further away. Yeah, that looks fine. We do need to get up on the roof, and I nearly forgot to place these guys. Okay, that should be another house completed. Aside from the interior, you know, I do really like this. And honestly, this was pretty much the biggest part of this episode. This was the one that has some bigger sort of function to it. Most of the other ones will just be variations based on this diagonal boy and the house that is currently still my base, which desperately needs to change, but it'll be just variations of those two. So I think that calls for a little time lapse. As you can see, the general shape of the buildings is pretty much finished, and all that is left is the roofs, so let's get started on that. As you can see, all the houses are finished except for the interior, and all that is left is to build the pathway as well as adding some decorations here and there. Well, I would like to do a time-lapse for all of that. Replay mod sadly hasn't been updated yet, so I'll once again just use some editing magic. As you can see, the pathway is done, and I left this little space over there, which, well, you can't actually see. So I've left this little space empty for a small well. So for the actual well part, I'm thinking like a 3x3, so about this size maybe. And then we needed something to like dispense the actual like water bucket from. So let's go up 3 and maybe do something like one more like this. Yeah, I don't think that's all too bad. Now let's do a chain. You know, I'm pretty happy with that. Don't think it needs anything down here, but let's go ahead and texture this part in. I don't have all that much to texture actually. Now let's quickly get ourselves some dirt. Perfect, now we just gotta, well, first get out of here. You know what, I'm pretty happy with that. Obviously, this entire area is still pretty undetailed. It's all just flat grass, so I think I'm going to do a lot of bushes, but, well, that's going to be a time lapse soon. I'm thinking of maybe adding like a small cart or a stand here. I don't really know which way though, so let's just do something, right? Fence gate, I think right there. So 1, 2. Let's add these as a wheel. Not the best wheel ever, but well, it'll do. I would also like to add like a special block up there, so that maybe, ooh, a chest could be great. Yeah, I think I'll do a chest. Let's think about this for a second. Yeah, I don't think this is it, so let's take back part off, because I do like the front part. Maybe let's move the wheels to the front, and let's add this there, and a hay bale up here, as well as a chest in front. But without the chest, it looks kind of empty, but I don't really like chests there. What if it's like not a haver but a crafting table instead? This could actually serve a function for me if I just do this. Yeah, well, it's not going to win any, like, well, design competitions, but I'm happy. I think I'm going to keep it this way. So with that done, I think it's time to move on to, well, actually detailing all this area here. The pathway is done, but as you can see, and as I've previously said, there's still a lot of, well, empty green grass space left. So let's add some bushes, maybe some small trees, and overall just some decorations. With everything being detailed, I'd say this village is finished. Well, aside from the interior, that is. But we'll worry about that another day. And now, please make sure to subscribe, and I will see you all in the next episode. Bye bye!